Since the first day of Institute, the Firki has been the symbol of Teach for India. The Firki reminds us that we are all here for the children. The colors of the Firki represent each individual person in this movement, the unique attributes that each of you bring. The Firki whirls into action when the winds of change touch it. It represents the calm. It also represents movement. It represents this movement. The Firki hasn't stopped spinning since May 2009. Just like the wind drives the Firki, Teach for India is driven by our dynamic CEO. It is with utmost pleasure that I call on Shaheen.
My dearest, dearest, dearest 2009 fellows. This is a story, and it's called Once Upon a Time, There Was a Firki. Once upon a time, there was a Firki. She lived happily on a Firki stand with her friends and family until one day a girl came and asked her to leave. "We want to give you away," she said. "You will be part of a movement for change." The Firki thought and thought. She was used to making children smile. They laughed when they saw her. Their eyes opened in wonder when they saw her spin. "No," she said, "I'm okay where I am. The kids I see are happy. They do not need to change." And then the girl started to talk, and as she spoke, the Firki's eyes grew wider. "Do you know that 1 in 10 of those children who come to you never go to school? Do you know 90% of those children never finish school? Do you know that if things don't change, they will not have the choices they need to maximize their potential? Don't you know that feeling good is not just about smiling when you see a Firki, but in really being the best that you can be?" She spoke, and the Firki felt tugged and tugged until she knew that she must go. That evening, a slide flashed. Join the movement. A song played. "I hope you dance." And so, she made a leap of faith and left her stand and was placed in a fellow's hand. She heard a lot of words that evening: challenge, urgency, need, dream, change, lead. In every child believe. The world can be the world I see. She wasn't sure what all this meant, but she had faith. There was an energy in the room. It felt like the start of a movement. She felt a quiver, not quite enough to make her spin, but the kind of feeling a Firki gets when she has goosebumps. Through the next few days, she saw lots of strange sights. These fellows seemed an odd bunch. They drew joy out of making garbage sculptures and trying to earn money by shaving construction workers' beards. They spent hours and hours understanding a new leadership model called teaching as leadership. They tried all kinds of things to get kids to sit and learn in summer school, and they never seemed to sleep. I'd often overhear those late-night conversations where they talk about the life they left behind and the enormity of the task ahead. Those were long days for me. I'd be up watching them tear themselves out of bed to make a 5-minute breakfast before running to summer school. I'd watch them through school, taking the hard steps that it takes to be a new teacher. And after school, I'd smile, watching a full bus, fast asleep, with the odd person staying awake to reflect on the day. I think on one of those days, I began to spin. Just for a minute, but I felt it for sure. It was more than the goosebumps thing. It was the thought that maybe these people could actually reach that seemingly impossible mission. The 5 weeks flew by in a medley of experiences and emotions. Rolling in the first rain, late-night discussions about the state of the world over coffee, endless debates on what to do in class tomorrow. Learning to understand colors, their own, each other's, their children's. And then Suddenly those moments of love ended and we were divided, and it was that first day of school. They went in, excited, scared, overwhelmed, exhausted, armed with freshly baked cookies, Candyland investment plans, and lots of hope. Those first few months, I saw them fail badly. I saw kids who didn't listen or sit. I saw plans that didn't work. I saw how legs hurt standing all day. I saw frustration and anger that the problem was just so big, that the gap was just so wide. I felt pride that they stuck it out. And one day I felt myself spin. Slowly, and just a couple of rounds, but spin nevertheless. Things were starting to change. Kids were responding, broken English words, hands up with questions. Marbles were moving from the fellows' jar to the kids. Investment plans were working, community visits were fostering understanding. Learning was starting to happen. Those first 6 months, I'd spin, stop, spin. You see, the days didn't keep getting better. There would be the good day, the day the kids got it, and then there would be the bad day, the day they didn't. On some of those days, I began to spin backwards. Those days were hard. 6 months. They took me to Ahmedabad, a chance to come together to reconnect with the mission, to share how their lives had changed these past 6 months, a chance to talk about the 40-odd new little people in their lives who were consuming their minds, hearts, and souls. I spun in a new way in Ahmedabad, hearing stories of how they had fallen and kept up getting up over and over the past months. I saw them immerse themselves in a community. I heard them be bravely honest about their own lack of confidence, about their need to do more. I saw them understand more deeply why they were here and what it was they had the power to change. I threw away my leap of faith that day. You see, I did not need it anymore. I had faith in them. I spun joyfully. Back to the off-lonely space of the classroom, I began to watch more closely the little miracles. The child who was not afraid of putting his hand up to answer now. The child who could clearly articulate his class big goal. The child who thinks and says, "Didi, I never had teacher like you." The child who calls you late at night to ask you how to do that math problem. The child who went all the way to South Africa. The child who writes you a card when you are sick that says, "Bhaiya, I miss you. Get well soon." I watch as I see how you've entered not just their lives, but their hearts. I spin now, most of the time. And they do not stop in between class and planning and training after training and no sleep. They find time to build this Teach for India movement. They do it in different ways. Some of them send countless mails sharing ideas and plans with others. Some of them start conducting trainings. Some of them set up libraries and transform their teaching spaces dramatically. Some of them do projects immersed in their children's communities. Some of them write books, blogs, a One School for All portal. Some of them use art as a medium for imagination. Some of them share ideas that inspire ed. Some of them run for us in the marathon. Some of them join a larger project with a vision of transforming municipal schools. This is a second freedom struggle, they say, and it starts in our school. Sometimes I pause in my spinning. You make me stop. You question, what is excellent education? What is a leader? How do we give? Do we always live by our values? Are we fair? What can we be doing better? You make me think of how I can be better. But even as you pause, so do you continue. More moments with more children, more moments together. I spin faster. There are all these things, so many of them that are causing such momentum. I find myself in new and far away places. You gift me to your school principals, and now they too are part of this movement. You give me to funders and supporters, bringing them into classrooms to see the reality they can help change. I sit in government offices now. I know that we can work with our government for change. I even travel the world with you. I meet other fellows from around the world. This is not just India's fight. This is a global effort to eliminate educational inequity. And now you are out looking for more of you. Now on colleges and in companies, you are not just saying this is going to be the greatest challenge you'll ever face. You are telling stories of how it is. You welcome new fellows in. This time, you hand me over to them. This time, I go with confidence. This time, I recognize in their faces the same fear, the same excitement, the same uncertainty. But this time, I know that they will fall and get up stronger. A year is over. I am spinning even faster. There is a new urgency in your classrooms. Some of you have moved to new children, and this is difficult. You have to start over, but faster and better as there is so little time. More miracles. Your children have the confidence to challenge each other. There is still chatter in class, but it's in English now. Your kids' eyes shine when they tell a visitor that Didi took them to Water Kingdom, or that Bayat took them to plant a tree, or on a meditation retreat where they all saw the sunset together. Your children give each other feedback, present their thoughts clearly, learn language through drama, learn math through real-life shopping. Your children know where they are going, and they are determined to get there. And the miracle of getting there, the lessons of failure, the inevitability of hope, the strength of working together, the finding and blending and redefining of your colors. I spin fast now. You see, nothing can be as powerful as changing children's life paths. 2 years ends, and yet it has to be the beginning. You know that. I have seen you immerse yourselves completely in the problem. I have seen you learn what it takes to turn around the problem for one child, for one class, for one community. Now we have a nation to turn around. And so is this not but the start? Go, our first class. Go find what children need. Go do what children need. Go show the world what excellence is all about. Go be the best leader you can be. Go do this for all the children. I spin as fast as I can now. I spin around and round and round because I know that we need more momentum than we can imagine to get to that vision that says that one day all children will attain an excellent education. I spin because you have made me unstoppable.